So as we make our way down, feel how the back is right now. Any little wiggles that you can do to make yourself more comfortable, absolutely feel free to do so. Sometimes that means I tuck my shoulder blades underneath, so I'm kind of squeezing them together a little bit more. And other days it's the opposite. I want to spread them apart. So feel what's comfortable for the upper back. And notice the natural arch we have to the lower back. Some days the legs flat out like this feels amazing, just to have that perfect amount of arch, not too much, not too little. If ever you're feeling like, I just wish I could arch it a little bit more to stretch the back, what you can do to make that happen is take the bottoms of the feet together into like a cobbler's pose shape, and that would allow that low back to arch even more. Or the opposite, if you want your back to become flatter on the ground, you can plant the feet and let the knees fall into one another, and then the back is pretty flat, that low back area. So just choose the version that feels good all the way up and down the spine, and then give it a couple of breaths to let the lungs become a little bit more full than they've been of air. So if we can imagine, maybe we've had shallow breaths for the last couple of hours. So this is a chance for us to allow some of those places that have kind of been stagnant with the lungs, allow those areas a chance to gently have some oxygen touching into those little corners. So as we're sitting here breathing and relaxing, we'll take a moment to connect with our intention for today. The intention that I've got planned is the idea of a bamboo tree. If you think about it, if a tree is going to withstand storms, it has to have one of two qualities. The first quality is it has, like, one type of tree could withstand a storm by being extremely strong, so that its wood just can't be broken very easily. So that's one way to withstand it, is with strength. The other way is like a bamboo. It's actually the opposite. It's being flexible, so that if the wind blows, it can bend and then just come right back up where it was before. And so that second quality, that flexibility and yet rootedness, much like a bamboo tree, is the quality we're trying to seek for in our class today. So trying to find balance, trying to find structure, stability, but also flexibility in that rootedness, just like a bamboo. So with that inspiration, with that idea in the back of the mind to help lead us on, let's begin. Knees coming into the chest. Just take it nice and easy, rocking on that low back. Nothing too much too soon. We'll take a few stretches already right here to kind of help us start to move into some of the flexibility of this area, the legs and the hips. And so from here, let's drop this left foot. The knee is still upright. The foot's just resting down. Right leg gets to stretch up to the sky, grab onto it, gently give it a tug inward, trying to see how much this leg is willing to open up. Maybe it's kind of stiff today and it doesn't want to straighten all the way out. That's okay. You can play with that. Maybe there's areas where you can find that gentle mobility, like the ankle. So just be playful for a few rounds of breath here. Start to let this leg open wide all the way up to that left side. Pay attention to all the way up to that right side. Pay attention to this left hip. Make sure the left hip doesn't lift up. You're tilting so far. Instead, we've got that good stability on that left side so that the right leg can open out to that right direction. Another breath here. And exhale, the leg will start to rise back up. Take this right ankle onto left thigh. And we're hugging around left side now, setting up for that right hip opener. Some days I like to be in stillness here, just kind of breathing to help those tissues open. Other days I want to rock. And so it's your choice in the quality. If you're rocking, imagine that's almost like that wind that's just letting us sway left and right, but yet it's not pushing us down. It's a nice easeful quality. It's like I could withstand this kind of wind all day long. No problem at all. So then releasing the hands, keep the legs set up as they are. They'll fall all the way over to that left side. The arms are welcome to spread open left and right. And notice how here we're starting to include some of the areas on the outside of the hip, the outside of the thigh. I do like to really explore the IT band in this stretch. So if you don't really feel that, you could either push that knee to be more upright, or you could scoot the legs a little bit closer to that left shoulder. So take another breath in and out. And then releasing the ankle, we're turning this into a normal twist. The knees are stacking to that left side. Nothing wrong if you don't want to explore further, if this is enough stretch for you. The next option is to straighten the top leg out. So right leg straightens out to the left side, and then left hand slides up the back side of that leg. So maybe it's able to reach up to the calf, maybe up to the ankle, maybe up to the side of the foot. It just is dependent on the flexibility here. Trying to ease into it, but nothing forceful. You don't force a bamboo to go to one side. Instead, you let it ease its way toward that direction. So here we've got one more option if we want to take it, and that would head us to the full cat chasing its tail. Right hand would grab those free toes behind your back. So right hand to left foot, and then you want that left leg, if you're heading to that one, to feel that quad stretch. So that would mean pointing the knee closer to the bottom of the mat, pointing it to that direction. So if you've got all of those set up, we've got a final twist, we've got a hamstring stretch, and we've got a quad stretch. So just breathe into all these spaces. Feel how the more open quality we develop in our muscles, the more it's like we're that bamboo. It's like, of course I can take a little bit of wind. I'm flexible, I can handle that. So take a nice inhale. And exhale as we release. Return the hips onto the mat, plant both feet, and we're going to feel the stability, that rootedness of the feet as we take a bridge pose. So let the lift of the hips be from the press of the feet down. That's what helps us rise up. Feel how we're, in a way, resetting our body. Some of those muscles that were just getting a good stretch now get a chance to contract. So feel this newfound mobility in that strength. Take another good inhale. And exhale when we roll the hips down. Now it's left leg up to the sky. Remember, nothing forceful. Maybe we're grabbing on to calf, maybe a little bit higher. Maybe we're playing with how straight we can get the leg, or we're loosening up other tight spots. Again, nothing forceful, just what is helpful. Okay, let's start to open this left leg to the left. Maybe left hand is on the inner thigh for a moment. Remember, right hip is not lifting up, so try to keep that side a little bit activated. Sometimes that means we don't go quite as deep, but we're feeling that groundedness in the hips as this leg is kind of swaying like a huge wind is trying to push it over. Now the leg will start to rise. Take left ankle to right thigh and hug around the right side. As the hands release, the legs in this unit fall all the way over to the right side. This is the one where we want to feel the IT band a bit deeper. So if you're not there, either push the knee to help it point upright or scoot the legs a little bit closer to the right shoulder. And let another breath flow through the body. With that exhale, release to a simple twisted place. The knees are stacked. If you'd like this top leg to start stretching out long to the side, that's welcome. Maybe tracing the right hand up the back side of that leg. And the last step, if you want it, maybe left hand grabs those toes underneath the body, aiming for that quadricep stretch in addition to everything else. As the next breath completes the exhalation, return the hips onto the ground. We'll take another bridge pose. So hands will plant, and then it's the press of the feet into the earth that helps us feel that lift initiate. And feel how even once the hips are lifted, we can still press the feet into the ground even more. Oftentimes I think of it more about the glutes doing their work or the back muscles. But just imagine this wouldn't be possible without the feet touching the ground like this. So really let that lift continue to rise our way up. Another nice inhale. Exhale, roll the hips down. The right leg slides long. Let the left knee rotate open with the foot touching the thigh, kind of like a tree pose, but we're toppled over onto our backs. And then just grab onto each elbow. Notice the arm that's closer to you so you can switch for the second side. Once you've got the grip of the elbows, let the arms rise up overhead. So this is a pose we're going to do later on, standing on the earth, that nice tree pose. So use this variation while we're laying on the ground to help the spine realize what it feels like to be tall, to be open, to be strong. So before we switch sides, with the grip of the elbows, let's take a circle to each direction. So circle both elbows over to the right side. Pause for just a moment as you feel that left shoulder stretching. And then slowly circle down. When you go to the left side, pause. Sometimes I'll push that shoulder away from the ear to get even deeper. And then circling back up. Then we'll reverse, so go over to the left. Down through the belly area, over to the right. And up. Good. From here, slide your leg, that left one long, slide the right foot in as high as it can get up to that tree pose, and then switch your grip so that the other forearm is closer to you. Once you've switched it out, reach the elbows up overhead and pause for a moment. Feel the hips rotating open on their own. Feel the vertebrae nice and stacked, very tall. And feel the shoulders starting to open. So now let's circle the arms. This time we start off to the left. Pause there for a moment. Circling down toward belly, over to the right. Once we return up, we'll switch. So now go over to the right. Down and over to left. And up. Beautiful. Take another breath in. Exhale, slide that right leg long. Let's stretch the arms up overhead. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, let's see if we can work our way smoothly up toward a seated position. If it's not so smooth, that's okay. Use some momentum to come up instead. We'll take a few breaths just stretching over the two straight legs out in front of us. If the neck has any tightness, feel free to move through some of that neck area, left and right, loosening up those areas. And letting the spine rise up. Head to a moment with a nice cobbler's pose. Relaxing the spine back forward. Lift up enough that the right leg can start to spread open to that right side. And then relax back forward yet again. Walk the hands just around that right leg. Now right hand will come to the inside area of the calf. This left shoulder gets pulled back, trying to stack the shoulders on top of one another. And then left arm reaches up to the sky, trying to continue to stretch all the way over toward the toes. Beautiful. A gentle rise up. Once we're there, take a moment to switch the legs out entirely. And then when that's set up, same thing. So starting off going forward. Walking to surround that straight leg. Then setting the left hand on the inside of the calf area. Pull this right shoulder back to stack, and then right arm up. Maybe continue to go over. Beautiful. With this rise up, we're going to head onto our hands and our knees. We'll start working on a little bit of strengthening here in a moment, imagining that strength helps us to build the root structure nice and strong into the earth. First though, let's take a few cat-cows, making sure our spine is still happy here. Give it a chance to round up and eventually down. No rush at all. Take your dear sweet time. And let's go one more round. Good. So from a nice flat spine here, our left knee is going to open out to the left side. Once we lower that knee back down, keep the knee in that 90-degree arrangement, and then lift the foot behind you, pumping up 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower the knee back down, lift it up through the side, and lower. Swing it behind, pumping 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go 2 more rounds through the side and back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one on this side. Up and back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Come rock back on your toes, letting yourself stretch through the bottoms of the feet as we allow our wrists to get pulled down. Sometimes when we're kneeling, we get a little bit of compression through the wrist, so this is just helping to stretch it out. Good. Relax back onto tabletop position. If the feet need a circle or two for a moment, that's great. And then when you're ready to work that right side, we'll lift it up through the side. When it comes down, swing the leg behind you and pump up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Knees lifts up through the side. And back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more rounds. Side. And back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Side. And back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Same thing. Tuck the toes for a moment. Sit back onto the heels. And allow the wrist to come out in front of you. Palms just kind of relaxing the fingers down. Even peel it in if that helps you increase that stretch through the wrist area. Another huge inhale. Exhale, coming forward. If the toes need a moment, give it them. Good. And then we take a moment to stretch the right arm up to the sky. And then thread that right shoulder all the way down to the ground. The left arm could stretch forward toward top of mat, or it could just circle around the low back, your choice. Explore through what's willing to open for us here. Good. Unwind. Press into that left hand. And then take a moment with a nice cat. A nice cow. Beautiful. Back to neutral. Left arm reaches upward. Thread it all the way under and through. Make sure that you've set that right arm up in the best possible arrangement. Nice inhale. Exhale, return the hand. Take a moment with a cat and a cow. Beautiful. Walking the hands forward. We're in a nice kneeling plank. Strongly lower down to the ground. And here, encouraging some strength through the spine. Let the hands hover above the ground. And then the legs hover. And we're going to lift legs and shoulders all the way up. We're pausing here for a few breaths. Feel how the breath makes this pose like we're swaying in the wind. We go slightly up and slightly down. Life will throw storms at us. So then that question is, are we going to be that strong person that I have to be able to withstand the storms with my will and my strength alone? Or are we going to be the flexible person like that bamboo? Still strong, it's still there at the end. Take one more good inhale. And exhale as we plant the hands again. This is a good opportunity to really enjoy a child's pose. Sitting the hips back, let the spine rest forward, the head resting down. You're welcome to stay a bit longer, or if you're ready for down dog, let's head right up to that shape. Wiggles absolutely allowed. That's helping us to find that mobility and that flexibility through our joints. Each of us will have different points of happiness here. So when you reach your point where you're satisfied, at some point, maybe 3 breaths from now or maybe right away, we're welcome to head up to the top of the mat just to enjoy a nice chance to be dangling in a forward fold. Good, so making our way up to the top. Our arms are going to take on that kind of swaying motion. So let the arms sway as far over to the right as you can twist them, and then as far over to the left. It's almost like we're trying to kind of sway our fingertips on the ground, tracing as much of a circle as we possibly can. Nice sway to each direction. You can even let one knee take a bend and then switch it out. Kind of enjoying the possibilities here. As you finish the next circle, return back to stillness at the top. Enjoy a breath in. A nice exhale. And inhale, we rise all the way up. Take your time if you need to pause with the knees bent to give your head some blood, that's perfectly fine. Eventually hands it up at the heart. So as we're here, we're going to take a nice lateral bend. So our right hand is on our right thigh. Our left hand stretches up to the sky, and we continue to circle all the way over. See if you can gaze up and open the shoulder even backwards from where it naturally wants to go. And a gentle rise up to switch sides. Gazing up, and maybe the shoulder gets open backwards, finding a new comfortable spot. Beautiful. Rising back up. Feel your left foot start to root into the ground. If you're to rock on all four corners of the foot, kind of like a big box, all of them are equally touching down. That foot is very solid. It's like it's spreading wide. So from that place, we'll take tree pose. Right foot to perhaps ankle, perhaps calf, maybe up to thigh. Feel the posture lifting up really tall. Trying to maintain this. Nice inhale. Exhale, turn that right knee forward. When it drops down, right away the foot's trying to find that same groundedness. The four corners touching down, spread the muscles out wide, and then the left leg is welcome to start rising up. Notice what your winds are like for your body. How much swaying does our body want to take on? It's natural. It's all good if it happens. Taking another inhale. Exhale, this foot drops down. We feel the feet grounded into the earth, arms open at our sides, mountain pose. Take a huge breath just in and out to be tall and grounded here. With our next inhale, as the arms sweep up overhead, let yourself lean backward like the wind's trying to blow you that way. And then exhale, arms circle through the sides to drop down to forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fingertips find the ground. The left leg swings back. This is essentially a supported warrior 3. So just feel yourself having that balance. We've got a tripod on the ground. Fingers, fingers, and toes. Notice what this hip is doing. We're trying to keep it square with the other hip. Take another huge inhale. Exhale, the standing leg bends ever so lightly, setting it down into warrior 1. The arms sweep up overhead. And then clasping the hands behind our back, start to pull the shoulders into a nice shoulder opener as we bow down. The ear is getting close to the inside of that right knee. A huge inhale. Exhale, release the hands. They drop down on the floor beside that front foot on either side. And then 3 times we're going to try to straighten that front leg out the most it's capable of. And then let it go back to a nice gentle bend. So 2 more, easing into the flexibility. And 1. Good. When you go back to the bent space, drop the hands to the floor, step back. We're either in full plank or we drop down to knees for kneeling plank. And imagine as we start to lift the left arm up to the sky and then set it down and right arm up to the sky. Imagine this is almost like the wind trying to pick us up. It's getting pretty turbulent here. Go back and forth a few more times. But yet we're so grounded. Take it once more each side. And then when the hands are both rooted down, shift forward, squeeze the elbows in to lower all the way down to the ground. This time we're taking a locust pose variation. Hands are closer to the hips as we start to float the shoulders and the legs. We're holding here a few more breaths. See if you can feel that flow of your body with the air that's passing in and out of you. Nice inhales, we're floating up higher. Exhales, there's a natural tendency to go down a little bit. That's called the airbag effect. Take one more inhale. Exhale, plant the hands. You're welcome to take child pose or go straight to a down dog. We'll start to make our way up to the top of the mat. This time, similar to what we did when we were on the ground, we're going to have one hand down as the other hand twists gently up to the sky. Feel the shoulder open and then drop that hand down. Just switch sides back and forth. Don't feel any rush, but this is enough to continue to open up our spine and open up that shoulder area. The knees can have one bent at a time if that feels helpful. It's your choice, whatever feels very best in the body. Okay, as we come back towards stillness, let's circle the arms up to the sky, maybe a slight back bend before we drop the hands down to the heart. Beautiful, we made it. So this time, allowing the knees to be right about as wide as the hips, we'll start to sit down like we're going into a chair. Feel the spine straight still, never rounding. And then from here, the right ankle is going to try to be placed up on the left thigh. If that's a little bit too much, have those right toes kind of crossing over on the ground instead. Either way, we've got a new little challenge here. Find something steady, a nice 45-degree angle forward to look at. And we're going to try to shift directly from this toward a tree pose. So the right hand grabs that right ankle, and then see if you can place the right foot directly under the thigh. If that's too high, just let it slip right back down to your normal tree pose. Posture's straightening upright. Maybe even grabbing elbows, see if the arms can rise up overhead for a moment. A nice inhale. Exhale, hands back down to the heart. Drop the right foot down. If that left foot needs some wiggles for a moment, that's beautiful. Nothing wrong with that. Good. When you feel pretty solid, start to sit back like that chair. And then this is where we'll take the left ankle up or just the left foot to cross in front. Toes can rest on the ground. You've always got that option if you need it. Okay, left hand tries to grab that left ankle and then place the left foot onto the thigh. See if you can maintain the balance, posture straightening up nice and tall. And perhaps there's that space to grab elbows and let the arms rise up overhead. A nice inhale. Exhale, release. If our feet need a little shaking or rolling, give them a break. Okay, and then feet rooted into the earth. Take a strong mountain pose, a full breath in and out. Inhale, reach up and sway back. Exhale, dive all the way forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, the fingertips find the ground, and we begin to float that right leg behind us like a supported warrior 3. Nice inhale. Exhale, gently bend standing leg. Land the other foot into warrior 1. Sweep the arms up to sky. And clasping hands behind the back, start to pull the arms away from us as we bow down. Here close to the inside of left knee this time. Beautiful. Dropping the fingertips to the ground. That left leg tries to go towards straight. No rush, but we're aiming toward that direction. And gentle release back to bend. 2 more pulses. Straightening and bending. 1. Beautiful. When it's back to bend, plant the hands down. We're stepping back to a nice plank or just drop down to knees. That's beautiful. Again, side planks. Lifting one arm up, it's like we're swaying with the wind, and then the other arm up. Try to make it more of a fluid quality rather than that rigid, I'm up and I'm down. That's what that flexibility is like, that ability to sway. Take it once more each side. And then lower chaturanga all the way down to the ground. This time we're going to try to grab onto the feet. So if that's not possible for you, you can return back to the variation we just did with hands hovering by the hips. If you're able to grab the feet, let's rise up into bow pose. The feet kick into the hands. That's what creates the back bend. And then just feel that rocking as you breathe in and out. Try to keep the knees squeezed more inward rather than just splaying out wide. One more inhale. Exhale, release. As the hands drop down, again, child pose. Or maybe you want to go straight to the down dog. From down dog, let's float the right leg up to the sky. Step that right foot in between hands. Back heel goes down. This is warrior 1. From warrior 1, we're going to twist to the right side. So the right hand starts to open up behind. Left hand goes forward. And then reach back up to the sky. Rotate open now to warrior 2 and pause. Swing the other way now. Drop the right elbow to the right thigh. The other arm stretches forward. And when that sway reaches its furthest end, circle back up, warrior 2, and continue to reverse it. Back fingers on back leg, leaning backwards. Beautiful. Through warrior 2, front leg straightens. Reach that right hand as far forward as you can before you drop that hand to the shin. The other hand floats up to the sky. It's like the arms themselves are now stacked and they're a bamboo tree, shooting really up high. And it's almost like our legs are the mountain that they're growing out of. So another inhale. Exhale back up to warrior two. Shorten the stance back to warrior one, facing up to the short edge of the mat. Hands to the heart. And we're going to try to transition directly toward warrior three. So we begin to aim our weight onto the front leg. The back heel lifts. If you need to drop hands down, that's fine. Otherwise, as we start to tilt up, allow yourself to take that left ankle directly onto right thigh. Sit back like the chair. Left hand grabs left foot, setting it up to tree pose as we straighten the standing leg. Maybe grabbing elbows, reach that up overhead. Inhale. Exhale, release. We've got two very grounded feet. Swaying up to the sky, a slight back bend, and forward fold. Half lift. Planting hands down, step walker jump to plank. Lower chaturanga until belly's resting on the ground. From here, we're going to try to grab the feet like the bow pose again. If it's not accessible, again, just go back to where we were a moment ago. Otherwise, lift up to bow pose. And then see if it's possible from the bow pose to tilt over to the left side so that you're in this back bend tilted off to the side. Feel how you're able to safely sway, no danger at all. Take another inhale. Exhale, gentle return back through the center, bow pose. And second side, swaying over to the right side. Feel how by tilting over to the side like this, you're actually able to help increase that back bend. That top foot can push into the hand a little bit deeper than when you're trying to force the balance in the center. Good, so returning back through the center, take one more inhale to lift. Exhale, release. You're welcome to do child pose or straight up to down dog. Good, left leg floats to the sky. Step left foot in between hands. Back heel down. Warrior one, sweep our way up to sky. Gentle twist, right arm forward, left arm back. And then reaching back up to sky. Rotate open warrior two. Extended side angle, front elbow down, the other arm stretches. And up. Reverse it. And up. Triangle pose, front leg straightens. Lean forward. Then left hand to shin, right hand to sky, stacking like a tall bamboo. Good, rising back up. Shorten the stance toward warrior one. Hands at the heart. And we're trying to play with warrior three, so tilting forward until that right leg is able to float behind us. You can always drop hands to the floor if needed. See if you can rise up, floating this right leg until the right ankle is on left thigh, and then bending standing leg to sit back like a chair. Beautiful. Grabbing right foot with the right hand. Set the foot on the thigh. Tree pose. Maybe grab elbows. See if you can grab the opposite side than what feels natural. And then maybe elbows float up overhead. A nice inhale. Exhale, release. The feet are grounded. And we take our last flow back. Circle up to the sky. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands drop down, step back, kneeling plank or full plank, lower to the earth. This one is your back bend. So maybe a cobra pose, maybe a sphinx pose. Maybe take enough time to gaze over one shoulder and then the other. And then child's pose or up to down dog. And we're going to head to pigeon pose. So I usually head from down dog, but you can head from kneeling. If you're doing the down dog variation, float the right leg up to the sky for a moment. And then send the side of the right knee under and through. Back leg scoots back. And allow yourself to lower down to elbows. This could absolutely be the pose that you simply maintain the rest of the time that we're in this pigeon. You could also have the option to take a nice twist of the shoulder as well, helping to kind of wind the spine around for that flexibility. So that would mean that the left arm is kind of trying to aim to set that shoulder down. You may not make it there, so maybe just try resting that elbow down and try scooting it a little bit further over to the right until maybe the shoulder sets down. If not, don't feel any pressure, just go back to where you were. If that shoulder sits down, maybe the right hand reaches up to the sky, and then as it bends behind our back, maybe it can grab those right toes. So the ones that are in that pigeon pose forward. Feeling all this flexibility that's being wrought. If you grab the toes, gently start to unwind and then lift up that left shoulder. We're going to set our weight onto the right hip. This leg stays as it is, this right leg. The left leg comes around and we try to plant the left foot on the outside of the right thigh. So from here, my variation today is that this bottom leg stays bent like this, that right one. You do have the option to extend that right leg out in front of you instead, if you like that better. I'll stay here though, the tucked variation. So here we take a twist. Some people hook the elbow. I personally like the control I have if I kind of hug my arm around that left knee. The other hand's behind us and lift the spine up before we continue to melt our way to that gentle twist. Good. Returning forward. See if you can allow the knees to stack on top of one another without either hip lifting. If that's great, you're going to start moving forward. If the hips are not quite grounded, simply open up into a normal cross-legged seated posture. Beautiful. Rising up, let's head up to our last down dog to give us a chance to get that second side for pigeon pose. So reaching up, float the left leg up high. Send the side of the knee under and through. Back leg scoots back. We can drop to elbows. If you're trying to set the shoulder down, it's the right shoulder this time. Trying to wind the spine to that twist. If that's pretty comfortable and no pressure to get here, remember yoga is not about competition, but if that's okay, maybe the left hand reaches up to the sky and then bending the elbow, the hands behind the back, trying to see if you can grab the front toes of that pigeon shape. So gently unwinding ourselves from whatever we just took. Set the left hip all the way down to the ground. And then this right leg swings around. crossing to plant the foot on the outside of that left thigh. We take the twist, so posture's up tall. The left elbow or the left hand hugs around the knee to make it possible to wind the spine into a beautiful twist. And returning forward, maybe the knees stack or maybe it's a simple cross-leg shape. Either way, let's gently melt our way forward. Our last chance to just feel our spine bend ever so lightly. And as we unwind from there, let the legs extend back out. We'll begin to head onto our back. If there's last stretches that you need to take, feel free to take a moment to do any of those things. And then my encouragement, just like we settled into the feeling of the back on the ground at the beginning, try to find that comfort. The shoulder blades are comfortable. The amount of arch to the low back is comfortable, whatever arrangement the feet are in. And then as we're here, just let the breath take over as our body gently recovers and receives all the benefits of this practice we took today. Here, begin to deepen inhales and exhales. Introducing movements to the body. Start to stretch out like we're waking up first thing. Eventually taking a nice fetal pose. Enjoying 2 or 3 breaths when you get there. When we're ready to come up to a comfortable seated place, we'll join our hands together in front of the heart. And here we connect back to that intention one more time. Becoming so flexible that the winds and the storms that we come across have no way that they can break us. And yet also being so rooted that we can take on the challenges that we know are coming. And so with this idea, with this inspiration of the bamboo to lead us on, let's wrap up the time we got to share together with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.